Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, in fact, David, for giving us this opportunity to work on a very relevant theme that is related to all of us, and that in fact it's a need of time. We are like talking about theme number 6, which is mainly research strategy in achieving the impact. Myself, Dr. Umar, and Mavish also is a part of our team. Thank you very much. Please go ahead, please. How we have been going on. In fact, when we're looking to the content of theme number 6, it was more emphasizing on how STEM and SDGs can be connected to the social needs. So looking it into a complete mirror or image from where STEM can be connected to SDGs, and from SDGs how we can solve the social problems. In fact, we have organized the entire presentation. So what we'll be talking about, that certain experiences, certain observations that we had while visiting these 6 universities, 6 wonderful universities David took us with. Thank you very much for British Council. And then moving on further, what challenges we are facing into the Pakistan and what could be the interventions. In fact, they are already designed, but at the same time, with the help of certain case studies, which were found effective and can be replicated in the context of Pakistan. Right, we know him. He's Henry Scoville. And everybody talk about the triple helix model. And the triple helix model, which is quite favorite, which says that university, industry, government need to work together, and universities can no longer only be seen as a seat for teaching and research. It's a prime responsibility of a university to work as an entrepreneurial universities. But then major emphasis by UNESCO is being given to the disciplines of science and technology, because science and technologies in fact have more potential to get commercialized in the future. Why? Because they have the capacity to get more patents, get more intellectual property, and then from intellectual property, it is more obvious to solve the social problems. So if we start connecting the STEM discipline with the Sustainable Development Goals, in fact, it has been said and proved that SDGs could be considered as a framework, not as a boundaries, as a limitation, but rather as a framework through which we can start connecting science and technologies with the society. And it has been seen much more by seeing as a research impacts and its implications. Next, please. So here is a concept of triple helix. What we are seeing, in fact, is a research partnership which is being done somewhere in between. It's not these 3 circles, but everything which has been done in between in order to promote the innovation and entrepreneurship is a basic concept of triple helix. We are not talking about more depth, but what we want to learn is while visiting all these wonderful universities, when we were there, we came across certain observations. Now, these observations, in fact, were emphasizing much more to promote the multidisciplinary research. So you can see the multidisciplinary research. Why? Because every university has its own strength. But being only related to the IT or being only related to the food sciences separately was not solving the problem. So what was important is to connect with each other and perform the multidisciplinary research, keeping in mind that universities have their research innovation portfolio already developed. But I do agree with the previous speakers who said that these universities have 200 plus ages. So what they have done, they have grown up, they have evolved gradually, and from this evolution, in fact, they have reached to their research as well as their innovation portfolio. It has also been observed that now we have been talking, these universities, in fact, more emphasizing on values. So they've been talking about trust, they've been talking about solving the social problems, but at the same time, they've been talking about engaging with the community, equipping people, collaboration, and internationalization. So gradually what they are doing, in fact, they have been devising strategy, more structured, more operation-based. Moving on further, in fact, as I mentioned, that they have the strength, and now they're gradually capitalizing on this strength. They are good at it, and what they are doing is with respect to the faculty, plus at the same time of the infrastructure that they already had, they're trying to reach or meet the industrial needs. Major emphasis on regional clusters, as I mentioned, that the area they are living in, try to connect with the people, and then try to solve their problems. Well, it was also been said by them that faculty is very self-driven. So they need not to motivate them or incentivize them gradually, but what they have in fact is more of their own capacities, more of their own trust, more of their own passion when they are conducting or engaging themselves with the research. Well, at the universities, funding being done by all these 3 actors of the university, industry, and the government, and then at the same time, the universities are working at 1 to 3 level of TRL, then ORIX, all the research centers are working at 4 to 6, and then industry is being handed over and given the values from 7 to 9. Now, this is a big problem that has been highlighted in the context of Pakistan. Pakistan is not only working with these 3 entities, but parallelly what do we have? we have establishment of R&D centers, R&D organization. And these R&D organizations are not working under the umbrella of universities, which is seen as a very, very different from the context of UK. Here what we observe that R&D research and R&D cells are working under the umbrella of universities being funded by all three entities. But here the parallel funding being done by the government, and unfortunately results has not been observed. Okay, moving on further again. Interesting finding that in Pakistan we have two vice chancellors for the campuses. Here what I observed is the pro-vice chancellors are for the research, pro-vice chancellors are for the academics, and pro-vice chancellors are for the innovation. So I think there's a big difference which can really make an impact. And then moving on further, now they are trying to promote the fourth generation. So third generation of the Henry Escovitz being led, but now they've been emphasizing more to move towards the fourth generation of universities. Next please. In the context of Pakistan, we know that we are opposite. Poles are very different. Academics and industries talk very different languages. And one of the reasons what they are doing is being seen in terms of knowledge asymmetries. Issue with them, they talk different language, we talk different language. So if some researcher comes to them saying, I have an extraordinary technology, the industry said we do not need it. So that's a major problem. It's just to add some fun things. So because of this knowledge asymmetries, unfortunately what is happening that the needs have not been met and the social problems unfortunately have not been solved. So it means there is an intervention required so that we can bridge that knowledge asymmetry so that the research can be converted into the innovation. How it can be done? Well, of course, we need to make some strategy, research-based managerial strategies, which have been done, and some research is already being conducted, which led us, in fact, to the development of one canvas. Because we've been talking about capacity development, we've been talking about that how the academic capabilities can be promoted, but we are not talking about that is there any tested method for which to teach our students through which they can really go on for capability building. So yes, there is the one. And because of this canvas, which is there, the knowledge asymmetries can be bridged. Now why I'm saying, next please, because this canvas is research-based, designed in such a way that the real-world problem need to be addressed with the help of research by bringing larger number of stakeholders together. Next please. This is how it looks on, but this is not only a canvas. In fact, it's a 6-month research-based course which can be taught to all the PhD students related to STEM, to all the master's students related to STEM as a part of the research methodology subject. We know that every researcher has to learn this research methodology subject, but doing this capacity building through the course would further help them to solve the real world problems. So there's some of the glimpse in which it's like extensive workshop-based course, which is based on 11 components, 11 checklists, and 25 templates. It's a funded project by National Science Foundation. It will be concluded, inshallah, in this July. But after this July, this is going to be implemented as a global curricula. Now, when you say global curricula, I also want that every university in Pakistan must get some benefit out of it. Some glimpse again. The course is being taught not only here, but at the same time at the University of Utah, physically and online. But at the same time, this canvas also gets the blessing of President of Pakistan, who signed this when it was a winning competition based on the stars of creation. Some of the papers I'll share if somebody is interested to read about it. Interesting thing is that the new Ministry of Science and Technology report being published in 2022, and on page number 40 of that report, the ministry says that this lean canvas of invention must be taught to all the universities. So it means top-down approach is also there. So moving on the same line, let me quickly conclude because there's a much that need to join. There are certain recommendations, but it's emphasizing more on the capacity building. So what is required to be done, in fact, is to strengthen the capacity of human capital and the ORIC through this LCI, as I mentioned earlier, supporting impact-based research only, promoting interdisciplinary and transnational research, entrepreneurship, as has been already said by our previous colleagues. Universities may be ranked on the basis of impact-based. Moving on further, this finally, the lean canvas of invention can be made a part of research methodology of all the universities related to STEM. So I may request Dr. Umar to please continue.